Hey, good buddies, what is up? This is a Good Buddies anime podcast. I am your good buddy, Roger.
And I am your good buddy, Brandon.
And he is a skeet-faced dink.
You fucking suck, dude. Are you serious? That's how we're starting this?
Yeah.
With you calling me a skeet-faced dink and me dropping the earliest F-bomb I've ever dropped?
Well, you know, skeet-face.
Jesus Christ. We went down a YouTube hole on some Doug videos.
Yeah.
Some Mr. Dinks and some, some Skeet Face.
Where Doug,
what do you know, Skeet?
Punched Mr. Dink right in the dink.
He got dinked on.
Yeah, he got dinked on. Get dinked on.
Jesus Christ. This has nothing to do with M&As.
But Doug is great.
Is this the worst intro?
No, dude.
I ask it every other episode. Is this the worst one?
No, dude.
All right.
We definitely have a worse one than that. Skeet Face.
All right. All right.
Alrighty, guys. So we are going to be, excuse me, guys and gals.
All our friends.
Yeah.
All
of our friends. Good buddies. We're going to be covering Hinamatsuri episodes 5 through 8 on this episode.
Hell yeah, we are.
But before we hop into that stuff, good buddy Brandon, what have you been watching this week?
Not a freaking thing. No,
not a goddamn thing.
No, I watched a few things. Definitely watched new Hinamatsuri, obviously. We caught up on those. We were going to talk about
yeah, that's
those.
a given.
Duh. Watched me that new MHA. It was basically a commercial, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, man, I liked it.
I mean, granted, we say new. I mean, we're talking about the dub, so y'all had already seen the stuff on the sub.
Midoriya went full
Detective
Conan Itagawa.
Full Conan Itagawa. Had to stupid. But yeah, watch that one. It's pretty good. We'll talk about that another week, so let's not dwell. But what else did I watch? I did watch several more episodes of Asobi Asobase.
Yeah.
God almighty, that show's so funny.
I cleared it, man.
It's so funny.
So last week,
it's so damn funny, dude.
After we recorded on Friday, Saturday, my fiance Kat, her mom was getting married. Mm-hmm. So Kat stayed up there for the night. She got her marriage license or whatever so she could marry her mother.
Nice.
And for the rest of the party and the wedding and stuff, Kat stayed with them. I came back home because we have animals.
Oh yeah.
And normally I have this I guess I would only watch one episode a night if Kat was home.
Yeah, because you don't want to stay up cackling and keep her up.
Because I laughed so damn hard at the show. I might have said that in the last episode.
Man, there was one moment that had me literally screaming.
And so on that day, or on that night, I came home and I was watching that, and it was that episode with the freaking poop doll.
Yeah.
That they were playing hide and seek with the doll with the little occult girl.
Oh my god, the occult girl's amazing.
Dude, I laughed so hard at that.
It's so good.
So hard, dude, that I had to go to bed. I couldn't watch anymore. I made myself sick. I posted on one of our anime groups. I was like, everybody needs to watch this because I have literally I was crying, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I was full on crying. It wasn't just like a tear coming out of my eye.
It was like
my face was
going.
My eyes were beet red. They burned, dude. I was freaking crying.
I got a damn headache watching one episode, dude. It's so funny.
I laughed too damn hard at it, dude.
It's so funny.
It could be the funniest anime that I've ever seen.
It's for sure the funniest one I've seen this year. And there's been some good shit this year, but damn, that show's funny. The one that really got me was there's a bit where it was actually the same episode of the clip that our good buddy Evil Laugh Gaming threw up.
Yeah.
That was the clip that we saw.
Oh yeah, the game.
I don't remember what they called it. It was something, but they're playing.
It was like
game.
Hanukkah's torture game or something like that.
Yeah, they gotta roll a die. Whatever space you land on has some kind of punishment.
Everything
or
is
something.
a punishment.
Literally, the one that really got me, dude. I couldn't freaking take it. Was the girl landed on a spot where the other two had to slap her butt. And like the first one does it, and she's like, she hits it real hard. And she's like, and she The next one goes and she barely does it. She like just taps her and she's like, "You're going easy on me. Well, just do it. I can take it." And she's like, but then she's like, "Haha, just kidding." And then, but the one who's about to hit her is like, "No, if that's what you want." And she hits her so hard, and the fucking face she makes as she screams, and then it just shows her butt just going because like it was so oh my god, it's so funny, dude. Like slap the shit out of her.
The freaking
that show's amazing.
The outro to that show too. The
outro's really good.
The end music.
Yeah.
Whenever it does the scream or whatever, and Hanukkah's head is like to the side.
Yeah.
It's so great every freaking really time. I can't say a single bad thing about that anime.
It's very so
funny.
Much. It's very
If
very
you good
funny.
buddies have not checked out Asobi Asabase, definitely do it.
It's really good.
Hell, who knows, dude? Whenever it finishes, we might just have to review it and try to truck through.
We can try to, man. I don't know. It's so fucking
I want to
funny,
spread
though.
the word of it, dude. I want people to watch that.
It's very good.
So I don't know if people take me seriously whenever they look at the show or they look at the cover art for the show. You cannot. This is
no. It definitely look from just the front of it, from the covers of the manga, from the intro to the show. It looks like just a cute little slice of life. Like
slice of life.
Here's these girls and they're all like wearing these white dresses and like it looks like just some regular old shit. And then like first episode, you're 30 seconds in and they're slapping the shit out of each other. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It really is just like it reminds me a lot of Pop Team Epic, but like slightly more grounded and yet so much more ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. God, it's
like a very deceptive. It's kind of like how Pop Team Epic, if you've watched that where it starts with like it looks like it's gonna be a show about like this kid and like this girl who's like secretly an idol or whatever and a singer and shit. It's like, haha, that's the joke. It's not really about that. That's kind of what they do here, where it looks like it's going to be this cute little slice of life thingy, but then it turns out it's just these kids like being idiots and just getting into dumb shit. It's so fucking funny. Anyway, did also watch new FLCL, but I guess we'll talk about that with you, bud. So what have you been watching, my dude?
Let's see. I definitely finished out Asobi Asabase, like I said. I watched the new Fooly Cooly. We'll get in that in a second. I watched the new MHA. I watched this. It's not an anime. It's on Verve. It's called the Anime Crimes Division.
Oh yeah. That's ProZD. ProZD does that, man. That guy's hilarious.
It's very stupid.
That dude's funny.
I watched all 4 episodes.
I haven't watched any of it, but I know
got
that
a chuckle or two, but it is very stupid.
I follow that fool on Twitter, and I was also like when Vine was still a thing, he was real big on there. That dude's real funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've seen clips from that. I've never watched a full episode.
Yeah. Could I recommend it to anybody?
Probably not.
No. But am I gonna watch all the episodes that are released for it? Yeah, probably.
Probably so. Oh, we should point out one thing we didn't watch, and Roger was not aware of this. We've been talking every week about Hanebado. We've been following that one. There was not a new episode this week. It was delayed because of the earthquake over there.
Yeah,
so
sad stuff.
Shout out to them. Hope everything's good. I really like that show, and I hope everybody's safe, man. That was some fairly serious shit, man.
Yeah, it was super serious.
All right. Sorry.
No, it is
Sorry
sad.
to bring it down, y'all. But do you want to talk about Fooly Cooly?
Yeah, let's talk about Fooly Cooly.
I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I'm kind of scared they're gonna like do something and like bum me out and make it not as good, but I really liked it.
I liked it. Mm-hmm. However,
here we go.
It did not. So it was the most linear episode of Fooly Cooly I think I've ever seen. I mean, Progressive had some pretty linear stuff in it, but this almost until 3/4 into the episode did not even feel like Fooly Cooly. It was very casual. That's a good word for it, I think. It was like a very casual episode. Not to say it was bad. Not to say I didn't like the characters and also the Dr. Pepper product placement.
The constant
in there.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Dr. Pepper product placement in there.
I am slightly confused.
Shout out to us right here in Waco. That's where it come from, baby. We got a Dr. Pepper museum.
We sure do.
Feels right.
It was good. I liked it. And I liked that they cranked the music a little more. This one definitely had a scene where the music was cranked. The song was rocking. The pillows were killing it.
Felt right.
Yes. But the montage of clips, it was so not Fooly Cooley feeling.
I mean, that's kind of what I wanted from it. Like, I wanted it to be like it's.
I still want it to be Fooly Cooley, but I also want it to be better than Progressive.
That was the thing that kind of. That's one thing that I think I talked about. Kind of bummed me out about Progressive is how it like just kept hitting like so many of the same notes.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, I want it to be different. I definitely do want it to be different. But I still want it to, I'm still looking for the way that I felt in the first.
I mean, we're definitely going to end up breaking down this alternative. So we don't. Yeah,
we're going to do that next.
But I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought it was great, and I liked it. I can't wait to see more, and hopefully them not fucking it up. But we'll find out.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought the characters were really good though.
I really liked the whole like teen girl squad they got going.
Yeah.
I like all the friends. They're very nice. I like that scene where they were all like, there's a bit where they're all like literally just like laying on top of each other in a little pile, like just like listening to music and reading books and shit. And I'm like, that's fucking adorable. I really like that.
This is like Haruka. She has like it's like a massive shift into this series.
Yeah.
Yeah, she felt like a villain in the last series.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but
she does not feel like a villain in this series.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they were done by like two completely separate teams and shit. Like that was the whole point. So like, yeah, I really do want to see where it goes next, and I'm into it so far. I'm kind of bummed that unlike Progressive, it's not
our main character. She's definitely the oldest of the characters.
Yeah,
yeah. Because they're about to graduate, aren't they?
I don't know. I wasn't paying that. I guess I missed that part. But I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, they're looking to go to college and
There's
stuff.
cool ass guitar.
Mm-hmm. There's a good ass riff in there.
Yeah, man, it's cool shit.
Yeah, I'm into it though, dude. What did you think? Do you have any
drop kicked right in the face? That was nice.
Yeah.
They made a rocket.
They made it the fuzzy rocket, dude.
It looked like a big ass cake. I was hungry. I want to take a slice. Anyway. But yeah, man, I enjoyed it and I want to see more.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just keep saying that over and over again.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm gonna watch the new episode tomorrow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
feeling it. I'm in that shit, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
I think that's all I watched this week.
Yeah, I didn't get a whole hell of a lot. Still like working way too much. I feel like
I got a good chunk of stuff done and watched or whatever. Because I mean, I had probably watched 7 episodes of Asobi Asabase. 4 for Hinamatsuri, 1 for MHA, 1 for Fooly Cooley for sure. That's all. What 12 episodes of anime this week?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I watched anything. I didn't, but yeah, it's good shit, man. Anyway, let's get to what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, man, Hinamatsuri, episode 5. 3 heads are better than 1.
Aw, yeah.
And we had a really good stretch of episodes here.
I really like these episodes.
I really enjoyed except for on one episode in which
where you just like cried real hard.
I didn't watch it. I just skipped right over it.
Skipped it because you watched it before and you're like, I ain't doing this shit again.
I started it and I was like...
Did you cry the first time?
I started it and I was... No, I didn't, but...
You got choked up?
Mm-hmm. I started it and I was like, nope.
Not doing it. We watched it on the PlayStation, just R2 right through that stuff, baby. Yep. Anyway, let's get to it. This is episode 5, which you already said is...
3 heads are better than 1.
Hell yeah, it is. So...
Anzu's trying to find TVs.
Anzu's trying to find some TVs. I mean, the whole thing starts with her like, Shige, the older homeless guy, just like shows her how to play like Cat's Cradle or whatever with a string. And he's like making shapes. She's like, oh, this is so cool. She shows Hina. Hina's like, what the fuck ever? I have video games. Like, it's kind of fucked up, but I get it. But yeah, Anzu gets to a hustling. She's bummed out about money. You know, she's like, man.
She wants to buy a video game. So
she wants money. She wants to get video games. She need money. You got to get money. Got to get money, baby. She's all dissatisfied. She's insatiable, etc., etc. But she gets Hina and she's like, hey, let's go find out some tossed out, abandoned electronics. There's this guy named Yoshida who will apparently pay good money for him. And they're walking. This part I was like, what the fuck? They're walking. And they're like talking about where we're going to find TVs or whatever. And then Hina just sees like 5 fucking CRTs sitting under a bridge. It's like, hell yeah. Because apparently this dude will pay like $3,000 for TVs. So they end up like loading up these damn TVs, taking them to the guy. He says, no, 3,000 for flat screens. This you'll get like 10 for these. And Hina actually has a couple good lines here. She's like, what use would a homeless guy have for TVs? And he's like, are you picking a fight? And then
in the English on the dub, she straight up just calls him a hobo.
Nice.
She keeps calling him a hobo.
It's pretty funny. Anzu, despite being bummed out that she's not getting the money she thought she was for these TVs, she gets pumped. She wants to find him. I want to really find him. She says it's like the same thing she said about Hina when we first saw her. I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna really find her. She's like, I want to find him. I want to really find him. So they search, and by search I mean they literally just go down by the river and they're just like feeling through the tall grass. I'm like, are they Pokemon? What the fuck are we talking about?
Hina is laying down. Hina
just straight up takes a nap in a sec later on. Not here, but she definitely like chokes on an ant.
She's got like
a line of ants going across her face.
It's like a mustache of ants.
Yeah, and like some of them go in her mouth. She's like, it's pretty great. But yeah, they're trying to find TVs. Anzu thinks, we should call. He told me, she says we should call my friend, but I don't have her number. And Hina just like makes phone calls. She's like, I'm calling somebody for help. And then Hitomi shows up, and Anzu's kind of like embarrassed because they were already friends and she didn't know about it, but whatever. Much later, like it looks like the sun's going down almost. They still haven't found anything. Anzu wants to keep looking. Hitomi calls her mom because they apparently just got a new TV. She's like, hey, what are we doing with the old TV? So she wants to get it so she can like, the plan is get it, leave it somewhere. Anzu runs across it. She gets all happy, found a TV, etc., etc. That's the plan.
What a sweet girl.
Such a sweet girl. I love Hitomi. She's a real sweetie. This is where Hina chokes on an ant when she was making that phone call. It's pretty funny. We then see Hitomi. She's got the TV. She's got it on a dolly. It is in the box. So like, it ain't exactly tipped, But she finds a place to leave it so that Anzu can find it. And she gets picked up by an officer for illegal dumping. And it's a pretty funny scene where like, he's like basically saying like, hey, this is wrong, blah blah blah, and he's like, well, I guess I'll call your parents. And she's like, no, please don't. And he's like, I get it, they put you up to it, didn't you? And it's like, no, not at all, but she just doesn't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't expect it to be this wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But meanwhile, Hina is walking along and she spots a bunch of discount TVs, so she goes to the bar to get money from Nita. And she says, hey, I need money. For what? For a TV? You already got a TV. Yeah, but I want a TV. All right, fine. He gives her some money. And then as she's leaving, he like stops her and she's like, he says, wait. Get it at, what does he say? Bikuri Camera?
Yeah.
Because he's got a rewards card.
Yeah. So get his points.
Gotta get them points, man. He's a fucking Yakuza and he cares about the reward points. I love this man.
He's so ridiculous.
I love this man. This show's great. But she does go. She buys the freaking TV, gets a cab ride to the river to talk to that dude. Dude is freaked out because it's a brand new TV. He's like, "What is going on? What's this kid up to?" Driver says he needs the money for the freaking, for the fare, which is like it was like more than 5,000, I think. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But the dude, this Yoshida guy, offers to pay for that in exchange for the TV because it's like literally brand spanking new. Like, dude, you could have just gave her the money, Hina, you fucking dip. Anzu shows up. She's bummed that she couldn't find a TV. Hitomi rolls up with her TV, and the dude like is looking at it. He's like, okay, it's still in the box, and he actually feels bad for like about that he's about to give these kids like so little money for a damn TV. And he tells them, look, just hit the recycling shop. He says, I'm guessing like pawn shop or something.
Pawn shop, yeah.
Yeah, pawn shop in the dub. But yeah, he tells them to hit up the recycling shop and sell it there. And so then, like, as they're walking, Anzu's got the money, and I think it's Hitomi who's like, why'd you need so much money anyway? And she admits, well, I wanted money for games so I could play with Hina. But then she's like, man, it's nothing. And she just denies it. And Hitomi has a pretty sweet spot where she's like, okay, you literally just said it. Why are you trying to play cool now? At home, Hina tells Nita that she bought a TV, and he's like, well, what happened to what happened? You buy a TV? Yeah, I bought it. Well, then where is it? Oh, I sold it. Well, where's where's the money? Well, cab fare. And the line he says in the sub is this a riddle?
Yeah,
which is pretty funny.
Yeah, in the dub he just says, okay, let's start over.
It's pretty good. And that's that first part of this episode. Again, this is one of those where like they split it into three three different little stories.
He and his mustache of ants.
That ant mustache was amazing. Oh man, I just remembered there's a bit I think in like episode 7 that made me laugh so hard. Or maybe it was episode 6. I don't remember. It was really funny, but we'll get to that in a second. It made me laugh way too hard. I rewound it like 3 times. Anyway, next part of this one is we see a couple dudes, these boys, school kids, running home. We find out they are Takashi and Kingo. And as they're running home through the shopping district or whatever, they actually see Hitomi, and she's walking into the bar. And they're like, why is she going into the... And then they stop because they see their teacher. What was that fool's name?
I don't remember his name.
Matsutani. That's it. Matsutani.
Yeah.
They see Matsutani coming, so they hide behind the sign. They're like, wait a minute. And he goes into the bar too, and they immediately jump to the conclusion that they're having some kind of secret tryst and that Matsutani's some kind of pedo. And they got to take him down. And I'm like, you fucking kids. But the show
is just all about how wrong people can be.
Yeah, it's pretty great. They immediately launched the Mishima Illicit Sexual Relationship Speculation Task Force, they call it. The only one other student shows up. It's one character we saw earlier. Her name is what was it? Sayo Aizawa?
Sayo.
Yeah. Her last name's Aizawa. That's pretty fun. But Sayo, yeah. She immediately is like, Hitomi wouldn't do that. You're stupid. And she suggests, listen, why don't we bring in Hina if you guys want to play detective? And they're like, what? Why would we bring in Hina? She's like, well, look, she's useless, but she could be a fun mascot. And I'm like, that's mean. But, I mean, they're right. Hina spends most of this episode just going, what is this?
Yeah.
Which is really fun. But yeah, they bring her in. They're discussing, like, what are we going to do? Blah, blah, blah. Sayo says she wants to take command as she's, like, close friends with Hitomi. And in class, she actually questions Hitomi. She's like, hey, I saw you downtown. What was that about? And she says, oh, I was, she's like being really obviously too nervous, like not a good liar, Hitomi. She says, oh, I was going to cram school. And Sayo like plays along with her. She's like, oh yeah, do you have that one teacher? And she makes up a name or something. And Hitomi's like, oh yeah, that guy. And she's like, okay, that guy doesn't exist. So like she just immediately catches her in a lie.
Yeah, she just keeps doing it too. And
she keeps doing it. It's really funny. And then like at lunch, she again almost like catches her. She basically almost like has her admit it, but she gets distracted by how cute Hitomi gets when she panics, and she's just like,
yeah, because she straight out asks her like, what were you doing in the little song?
Yeah. She like almost freaking cornered her, but she couldn't go in for the kill because she was completely caught off guard by how cute Hitomi gets. She's like, damn it, she's too cute. So yeah, she couldn't go through with it. The whole time like all this is happening, Hina's just like standing in the background, just confused.
I don't understand.
Yeah, in the subtitle, she just keeps saying, "What is this? Wait, what is this?"
Yeah.
It's really good.
I think she say in the English, she says, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on.
That sounds right. So then back in the stairwell where they first met the kids in Kengo and Takashi and Sayo first met, Hina's there too. They're all like arguing about it, like, you know, hey, you were supposed to, you know, lead this, and what happened? She's like, I couldn't do it, and look, it's dumb anyway. There's no way that's what's happening. So the boys say, well, fine, we're gonna figure it out ourselves. And there's a pretty fun part where like the boys like just turn around and go down the stairs, and Sayo turns toward the wall, and then just immediately turns around and goes down the stairs, and they're like, hey, this looks dumb when we all leave the same way. Well, there's only one staircase. It's like fucking great. Like they wanted to split up to be more dramatic, but they couldn't because they were at a dead end. So good. Anyway, the boys try to catch Hitomi and Matsutani alone in a prep room after he asked her to come with him to do something in this prep room. They bust in. All they do is end up making a mess when they bump into Hitomi, who's got a stack of like printouts and papers. And Matsutani tells him, "What the hell are you? Look, just help her get those back to class. God, dumb kids." And then as they're walking, one of them, I think it's Kengo, asked, "Hey, are you doing anything you can't talk about?" Like he's trying to get her to admit something. And she freezes up. She freaks out. And she's like, well... And she's being way too suspicious. And what she ends up saying is, "I can't talk about it, but people appreciate it." And then they're like, "What do you mean people appreciate it?" She says, "Well, no. I don't know what you're talking about." Like she keeps trying to deny it. No, nobody's understanding anything anyone's saying. They both freak out, run back to Matsutani in the prep room, just throw the printouts in his face, and then vow to catch him in the act. And he's just like, "What the hell?" So then they run back to Sayo, asking for help, and they all end up staking out the little song with Hina there too, and they're watching. And they're waiting, and they see Hitomi go in. And they don't see Matsutani go in. And Takashi at this point thinks that she might just be straight up hoeing. He's like, "Wait, is she just prostituting or what?" It's like, this show's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, they don't say prostituting in the English version.
Yeah, he says he thinks she might be like straight up hooking at this point. And I'm like, Jesus, this freaking show. Sayo says there's no way that couldn't be happening. Hitomi wouldn't do that. Hina's still just standing there going, "What?
What's going on?
What is this?"
Yeah.
And then they see Nita go into the bar. And one of them, I think it's Takashi. No, it's Kengo. Kengo, like, is a little bit, like, he's just straight up in shock. And he goes, "Hey, Hina, look, your new dad's going in there." Or no, your new mom is in there. Like, your dad's going in there to meet your mom. It's so fucked up.
I think that was pretty much verbatim on the English side.
Your new mom is in there. He says, Sayo at this point just fully freaks out. She's like, "Screw it, I'm going in." She runs in. The others follow. They bust in, and there's an amazing scene where, like, they all see Hitomi behind the bar in her little vest and outfit, shaking a drink or something, and she freezes and just like... I literally took a picture of the screen because it was so damn funny looking, and like it zooms in on her tongue because she is doing that little tongue wiggle. She's it's
like a little parrot beak or something.
Yeah, they do this thing where they keep zooming in on like their tongues because like they're just like.
It's like fat and pointy and just a little wiggly.
That sure is a tongue, all right.
Yep.
But yeah, Hitomi full on freezes the face, the tongue. She tries to pretend it's not her. She's like, "Hey, the bar is no place for children." And they're like, "What the hell are you talking about, Mishima?" Like, they can't, they're not buying it. The boys are like really up in her face about it. But then Sayo's standing there and she wipes her tears away and she says, "Oh, we were so worried. I just want to know that you're okay." And she like looks like she's really concerned.
She does this really heartfelt thing to her.
Yeah. And she's like, she takes off her glass. She's wiping her tears away and she says, Just tell me you're okay. If you just tell me you're okay, then it'll all be fine." And Hitomi, like, her eyes soften, like she's being honest. She's like, I'm okay, Sayo-chan." And then immediately she puts up her glasses back on. She's got like the shine on her glass. She's like, "Haha, then if you're not Mishima, then how did you know I'm Sayo?" And she's just like, "What?" Like, it's a real gotcha moment. Like, she just pulled the Detective Conan. Is that our like third Detective Conan reference this episode?
I think so, dude.
It's like second or third.
And Nita and what is her name?
Otako?
Otako, yeah, are over there like she's drowning.
Yeah. They're just sitting there like, "Oh my god, what's happening?" And we now get to see that Sayo is like just a straight up control freak. She wants Hitomi to say, "I'm a middle schooler bartender," is what she says in the subtitle anyway. And she makes her repeat it several times, like louder. "I'm a middle schooler bartender." Again, "I'm a middle schooler bartender." Now say it like you're an idol announcing a present. "I'm a middle schooler bartender." Like she actually does like she's really excited about it. It's fucked up. But then like there's just a slow clap, like everyone's applauding her at this point. And this is my favorite part because as everyone's like applauding, like, "Hey, great job, you admitted it," or whatever. this is when Hina's in the background and she just says, "What is this? What is this? Seriously, what is this?" It's really good. And then at this point, Matsutani, the teacher, shows up and they're like, "Oh, hey, kids, what are you doing here?" And he says, "Oh, I get it. She really does look like Mishima, doesn't she?" At which point, all the kids just stare at him and they say collectively, "We have a high-level idiot over here."
Yeah. In the English, they're like, "This guy is our teacher?"
That's pretty good. They called him a high-level idiot. That's a pretty sweet insult. But that's episode 5. We're on episode 6.
Episode 6, we're swimming right through. Nita-san has a dandy dad.
This is a pretty good one. You get to meet the fam.
Yeah.
I liked meeting the fam.
I liked it.
Nita comes home to find Hina on the phone, and he's like, "Oh, who's she talking to?" And then she says, "Nita's mom." And he's like, "What?" And he like pushes her head away and grabs the phone and like tries to play it off like she wasn't just talking to his mom or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think what he says is, "What? Oh, you must be hearing things. It's the spirits are talking to you. What's that?" And she's like, "What are you talking about, you fucking liar? Like, I know that was someone there." Anyway, as that's happening, I don't know where exactly this comes from, but Hina's laying there like watching this happen, and in the sub, she says, and she actually says it like in the thing, she says, "Why? ¿Por qué?" And I'm like, why is she speaking Spanish? All right.
It is in English, too.
It's pretty funny. Anyway. Credits, back from the credits. Nita has Hina at his, mom's place, family home, I guess. And he's actually praying at a small shrine that is made for his father. Because his dad's dead, apparently. And then he has tea with Mom and Mika. They're actually just straight up drinking. And then Hina introduces herself. She says, I didn't write down the whole thing, but she says, "I'm Adachi Hina. I'm 13 years old. Something something. Nita took me in. Something something something." It's a very obviously pre-prepared thing.
It's very stiff.
Yeah. And they try to. Oh, she talks about how her dad's in prison. She has no relatives. And the mom and the sister's name is Mika. We don't get mom's name, but I mean, that's mom. They're very suspicious of this. And then they're like, "So you don't have any other family?" And she just goes, "I'm Adachi Hina. I'm 13 years old." And she just starts repeating it word for word. And Nita's just like, "Oh my God, you broken record." And he drags her outside, tells her, "Listen, just chill out. I'll handle this." And she sits outside playing her 3DS while he goes back in.
He's like, "I appreciate the effort, but you have no skills in improvising."
Yeah. And he also fancies himself a damn actor after this next scene.
Yeah. Because it's pretty great.
It's pretty great. He drags her away. Yeah. And then he goes back inside. Oh, by the way, we also find out his given name is Yoshifumi, which is pretty fun. Mm-hmm. He goes in, tells his story while Hina's playing the 3DS outside. Says that there was a feud, and her mother ended up getting shot at some kind of restaurant or something, and Dad retaliated, killed 2 guys, and he ended up getting locked up. He was a real brother to him, and he felt like he needed to take care of this kid because he felt so bad. And they're like, "My God, that's so sad." And they're actually starting to tear up a little bit. And he says she was traumatized. They're like, "Oh, what happened? Does she actually remember this happening?" She says, No, she was traumatized. The only thing she remembers is eating the chili shrimp. It's like, what?
The chili shrimp, yeah.
She's eating chili shrimp. It was just spicy shrimp, I guess. Pretty good. They're moved to tears. And then afterwards in the bathroom, he laughs to himself because, damn, I'm so good.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Can't believe that he came up with chili shrimp.
Yeah, chili shrimp.
He's really proud of the chili shrimp.
Yeah, he's really proud of that one. So then afterwards, Mom and Mika are trying to say they want to try Nita's cooking, and he's like, "Hey, I'm the guest here," and they're like, "Oh, I guess, whatever." And he's like, "Fine," and he ends up cooking. The food actually looked really good that he cooked when he was done cooking, and I was sitting there watching. I was like, "Man, I'm hungry." But man, it looked good. Anyway, he's cooking. While he's cooking, they're both sitting there at the table, and they ask Hina about school. And she talks about how, oh yeah, school is School's boring. I mostly sleep. And Mika actually says, oh, man, I bet you don't even do your homework, huh? And she says, oh, yeah, I have homework. And she, like, pulls out her homework, and they're like, well, we'll help you. And so she's like, okay. So she starts doing her homework, and she says, hey, you have to put your name here, Mika says. So she signs her name, Nita Hina, because that's what her name is at school. Nita, when they draw attention to this, Nita freaks out, runs in, makes an excuse about how, oh, I discussed it with the school. They figured it'd be easier if she had my name. Ha ha ha. Yeah, it's totally normal. Don't look into it. Blah blah blah. Like he's trying to play it off. Doesn't work. They're very very suspicious. And then he's like, "Isn't that right, Hina?" And she goes, "I'm Adachi Hina. I'm 13 years old." She just starts repeating it again. It's so funny. But yeah, she just repeats her line again. Anyway. Afterwards, they eat. I actually wrote down food looks good. It did look very good. They ask about what's fun about living with Nita because she says that she likes having fun with him, and she says, "Oh, lots of stuff, but I like the girly club." And they're both immediately freaked out and side eyeing him like, "What?" And he says, he like does a very dramatic like looks away and like he gets those sparks. He's like, "I just couldn't say no to her," and it's like. They're both still just like staring him down like, why did you take her to the club, dude? It's a little kid.
The gentleman's club.
That's a small baby. But yeah, he says he couldn't say no. They side-eye him. Sis at this point is like straight up drunk. And she's also a little nuts. She's a little nuts. She's outside. She like scolds Hina because Hina has like a sparkler and she's pointing it at these ants, which I think is probably a pretty nice callback to the fact that she choked on one. She's probably getting her revenge, but like she's burning these ants with a sparkler, and Mika straight up slaps her on the back of the head and tells her, "Hey, that's not cool. Every living thing has its purpose." And she's like, "Oh." And then Mika immediately just pours her beer out on him and it's like drowning him. And she's like, but also
it's survival of the fittest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the strong's place to placate the weak or whatever. It's like, Jesus, this lady's crazy. But Nita ends up, he's talking to his mom and he gets his lies mixed up for a second. And mom catches it because he's talking about how he had kicked her out and Utako got mad at him for kicking out his own daughter or something like that. And then mom catches that and she's like, wait a minute, that would mean she is your daughter then. And he's like, what? No. And Hina actually tries to like back him up and like, you know, to go along with what he's saying as he's trying to smooth over like the fact that he just fucked up and like let slip that she is his daughter even though she's not his daughter. And he's actually like moved. He says that even though she doesn't know what chili shrimp, because she's like now just messing up chili shrimp, they're like, you remember the chili shrimp, right? And he's like, is that like when you got chili shrimp, like it's cold, like chili shrimp?
Yeah, in the English she's like chili shrimp like ice cream is chili.
Yeah. It's pretty good. But Nita sees that like he actually says, wow, she's an idiot, but she's really trying to make this work. She's still an idiot though. He's like moved by the fact that she's like actually trying to back him up in his lie. And so he stops their question, says, no, she is in fact his daughter. And that and he actually shows like real conviction in this, like not only that he's saying that's his daughter, but like he actually feels like that. Like that's what it looks like anyway. And yeah, it's pretty great. Like he really believes it. And then Mika, his sister, is like, all right, say it like a weird old geezer. And he goes, hey, I'm her daddy-o. Which was a fun line, I thought. Mika says they have to, well, if that's true, then we got to toast to the newest Nita, the member of the Nita family. And they all pour up a glass of beer and then cheers, like slapping the glasses into her face, which was pretty fun. They literally just like squish their beers into her face to cheers. And then they talk to Dad at the little shrine. Nita promises to take good care of her. Hina is pretty much just sitting there speechless. She's like, I don't know what to say. And then like Mika just spills her beer. It's a very fun scene, but like Hina seems like she's maybe a little freaked out by it, by the fact that like Nita's apparently like her dad or so he's claiming. I don't know, it's fun and funny. Anyway, that's that half of the episode, and now we get to the next half, which is a little sad.
Let's see. Episode 7.
No, not quite. It's the second half of episode 6.
Episode 7. Anzu is a greeter now.
Well, no, not yet. No.
I don't recall anything that happened after that.
All right, well, you just sit there and be quiet while I read it then.
No.
Anzu sees a group of protesters led by Taco. They want to protect the homeless land, and she sees a sign in front of the park entrance that's a notice to vacate all the illegal tents. Yeah, this one kind of sucks, y'all. But Yasan tells
told
her,
you it makes you feel for those homeless people.
Honestly,
later.
this part I was like, hey, that sucks. I mean, it wasn't. My whole point wasn't that like I don't feel for the homeless. My whole point is like it's the fact that they're romanticizing the act.
They're making it look
homeless.
like it was a happy-go-lucky life.
Like not that it was happy-go-lucky, but that like it's like that thing where like a lot of times you'll see this, be it because this person's homeless or this person's like in an abusive relationship or something, but look how strong they are, or this person's like in this really shitty situation, but look how they're still going at it, like they're gonna make it, like that kind of shit. It's like, hey, that's all well and good. Maybe don't romanticize that shitty thing. Maybe like let's say, hey, that's bad and that shouldn't happen. That's my whole point. But like, I get it. I do get it. I get that like that's the whole point of the story and shit. It just like kind of bums me out. Anyway. But yeah, she's wondering like what's going on with this. Yasan tells her, well, we're not going to be able to stay much longer. And that night he discusses it with the others and, like what they're going to do. And he says apparently Utako has found someone to take Anzu in. And he actually says she doesn't need us in her future. Which is like, oh man, this is going to be a bummer. Anzu, the next day, she makes a sign. And she wants to go march with the others. And one of the guys who we actually find out later is named Goto. He says, well, that'll get us caught. I mean, we can't do that. We'll be caught immediately. Like, you know, it's fucked up because, like, it is one of those things where, like, hey, you know, being poor is a crime, right? Like, you're not allowed to be homeless without getting in some kind of trouble. It's fucked up. But, yeah, he says, no, that won't work. Even Yasan says he won't join. And she says, well, then I'll do it myself. I can get rid of them, she says. And I'm like, hell yeah, you could. You are fucking psychic. Blow them bitches up. But she won't. She doesn't do it because they talk her out of it. Which is actually a thing I neglected to mention previously. That whole thing where, like, Yasan's showing her how to go and collect cans and shit. And, like, she's carrying all these bags of cans. She's, like, has to walk so far. And she's so tired. She's carrying so much. I'm like, you could just lift them bitches with your mind. I mean, I've seen you do it. But I get it. Anyway, Yasan talks her down, says they should, listen, let's just try to enjoy the farewell party tonight. And as the dudes all toast, Anzu says that, well, if we got to find a new place to live, they're saying, you know, let's all hope we all find some new land or something like that. And she says, well, if we got to find a new place to live, let's all try to live together. Like, you know, we can find another place. And they're saying there's no way, there's no place this is the only place that's big enough for all of us, that we won't be able to find a place to live together again. And the one guy, Goto, he actually like legit gets mad, and with tears in his eyes, he tells her to just leave me alone, he says, or something like that. And later he's talking with Yasan, and he what does he say? He says, I felt like she was showing me I can't do anything. Like, this is a pretty heartbreaking scene, because you're really seeing this dude, like, he's a grown-ass man. He feels so inadequate. He looked at this girl who was trying to, like, say, hey, let's do something about this. And he saw it as her pitying him, and he couldn't take it, because, I mean, he is a grown-ass man who, you know, is now homeless, who is at the lowest point he possibly could be. And for this young girl to, like, take pity on him, like, it's nice of her, and he knows that, but it's also like bumming him out, because god damn it, I'm a fucking man, why can't I handle my shit? It's fucked up. There's a lot of stuff about like inadequacies and shit in this episode. It's a real bummer. But yeah, he says, I felt like she was showing me I couldn't do anything. And then the next morning, they don't make a scene. There's actually a bit where Anzu's like packing up her stuff, and she has a little plaque that has her name on it that was on her little tent, and she's taking it down, and one guy sees her and he like wants to go, tell her it'll be okay, and he wants to tell her goodbye, but another guy stops him, and they don't make a scene. They leave Anzu in Utako's care. They tell her to be well, and they go. They just leave. They want so badly to like try and, comfort this girl, but they know that'll just make her like more attached to them, and they don't want that. And so Goto, as they're walking, he's like pulling his hat down over his face so she can't see him crying. Shige and Yasan are also crying. Apparently, you find out as they're walking, you don't see it, but like they're talking about it. And Utako turns Anzu over to Mr. and Mrs. Hayashi, who own and run the Rai Rai Ken Chinese restaurant. And Anzu's pretty defensive. They sit down and they're serving her food, and she's looking at it, and she asks how much this feast costs or something like that. And they tell her it's free, of course. It's, it may not be perfect, but it's absolutely free. Of course, you can eat all you want. And she eats a little bit, but then she stops. And they ask if she's all right, and she tears up, and she says, it's delicious, but she feels awful eating so well while they're out there all alone. And she her heart is clearly breaking, like this poor child.
It's horrible.
It's really sad.
I feel awful.
It's really sad. She lies down, and she's like laying down in her room. She does have her own room, which is kind of nice. She doesn't really realize that until later. But she the Hayashis outside, they at the table still, they're talking about it, and they like say, well, these things take time. She's a good kid. I think she'll be all right. And the next morning, Anzu wakes up at the break of dawn. Sunlight hits her face, and she's up because that's how she's been living. And she doesn't know what to do with herself. There's no need for her to search for cans or go sell magazines or anything. And she goes downstairs to find the Hayashis are opening for the day. They live literally on top of this restaurant that they run. And this is the part that did make me tear up. I was choked up earlier. This is the part that all right, I got some tears out of this one. She says that she wants to help, and they tell her, you don't have to do that. But then she says, no, you work to earn money, and that's how you eat. Yasan taught me that. And Mr. Hayashi says, listen, that's a good lesson. And he says his teachings live on in you. And she says, well, it's not just him, it was everybody. And she remembers Shige and even Hitomi helping her out, getting her the cans, and all the others. And he says all of them, they live on, their lessons live on in you, and because you have their memories and whatnot. And she says, she's tearing up, and she says, I'm not alone. And he says, yeah, and neither are they. And then we actually get a scene of Yasan and Shige at some kind of food line, and they remember her. And Yasan worries that maybe, they've made so many mistakes, that's how they end up where they are at. And he says, I wonder if we didn't make one more. And Shige says, no, I thought of it this way, that we needed to make sure that, she was able to continue living and whatnot, and there's still someone out there who will cry for us, he says. And Anzu does cry, standing there in front of him.
It's horribly sad. I hate it.
It's very sad. This is where I started crying. And there's a pretty great scene though that as they're
I fucking hate it.
As the Hayashis, Mr. Hayashi is telling her that no, that they're not alone. You're not alone, and they're not alone either, and all this. That she with tears and snot running down her face, she gives this big ass goofy smile. She's so happy to know that her friends that she cares so much about aren't really alone, and neither is she. And both Hayashi's just oh, god damn it, where's the tissues? It's really cute. There's actually special credits here with Anzu, and I really liked it. But yeah, that episode did make me cry. The end of that one did make me cry.
It's horribly sad.
It's very sad, but it was also very uplifting and beautiful, which is the point. That's why they do that. It was good. I liked it a lot.
Anzu's such a good girl, dude.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
She's such a good girl.
I'm just gonna start another podcast called Brandon's Crybaby Corner.
Yeah.
It's just, here's a list of things that make me cry.
My beautiful baby boy.
My beautiful boy.
Brandon's picture in my phone. I only have one picture saved in my phone.
You sack of shit.
For one contact.
You son of a bitch.
And it is my good buddy Brandon. And it is Akira from Devilman Crybaby with his big ass smile.
Back before he was like Devil Akira or anything.
Yeah.
It was just normal ass Akira sitting there going, like with his big ass smile.
It's a
and
huge smile.
We've said before, you'll send me that goddamn picture in a text message and I'm just like, my baby.
My beautiful baby.
My beautiful boy. Oh no. He was so happy.
He was, dude.
Dude, okay. Oh, I gotta drop this one on you real quick. So straight up, I got that fucking Deep Dope shirt.
Oh, yeah?
Way too small. And it bummed me out because I ordered the biggest one they got. It was still way too small. So I did me a... I hit them up on the website I ordered it from. And they were like, oh, dude, that's cool. No problem. Here's your refund. We got you a coupon or whatever code. And you go ahead and order something else if you want to. You don't even have to send that other one back. And I was like, you know what? This website's pretty cool. So shout out to Redbubble. Here's what I did order now. If you can see it.
Oh, man.
It's pretty sick,
That's
right?
freaking nice, dude.
It's a black shirt with like a really like bright blue, purple, and orange like retro ass 80s style picture.
Dude, let's take your Deep Dope tank that's too small for you. It's about to be wintertime. It's about to be cold. Let's cut the back of it or the picture off and then sew it on a hoodie on the back of a hoodie.
We can do that. We could do something like that.
Yeah, man. It's a rock and roll band, dude.
This fucking picture is on this shirt is like a super retro 80s looking thing of it's Akira and he's like bent over like he's riding
on his bike.
Yeah, riding the motorcycle with Miki on the back of it. That was her name, right? Miki?
Yeah.
On the back of him, like hugging him, and underneath it says in this real badass, like fucking cool ass script, it says "Cry Baby" underneath it.
It's like the Vice City font.
Yeah, it looks like Vice City or like Hotline Miami type shit. It looks rad as hell.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, you could still make use of that Deep Dope.
I'm definitely gonna.
You gotta, dude. Just cut it out, make it a patch, and put it on the back of a hoodie, dude.
Hell yeah. Give me a nice denim jacket, strap it on that. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell fucking yeah. I'll do something with
it. People are gonna look at you and be like, "That guy, he must have the biggest dink in this room."
Fucking idiot. They're gonna look at you like, "Man, that guy fucks."
he totally bones, man.
That's so shitty.
That's a fornicator if I've ever seen one.
But yeah, man, I ordered the hell out of this new short. I'm gonna wear the hell out of this new shirt. It looks cool as fuck. Anyway, that was episode 6. We brightened it up a little bit. We're on to episode 7.
Anzu is a greeter now.
This is a fun one. This is more fun.
Yeah.
It's more fun than that last one. That last one kind of bummed me the fuck out. This was pretty fun.
I skipped it. I didn't even watch it.
What a douche. This shit was... I liked it. Anyway, Anzu has her apron on. She's got her hair pulled back with a bandana on it. Her clothes are a bit large for her, but she says, hey, everything's large on me. And... freaking Miss Hayashi is just like, tissue. She like gets another tissue.
Yeah, in the English she says, everything that I've been wearing has been too big for me.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah. Oh, Anzu.
She's such a good girl.
My beautiful baby girl. Mr. Hayashi tells her, all right, well, listen. Here's the thing you got to know is that while you're working here, our customers are basically gods. And she's like, what? And she's like, well, okay, they're like godlike people. They are akin to gods, basically. He says that you have to speak politely and formally while you're at work. Even with us. It's all yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, all right? And she says, yes, sir, understood. Like, okay, way to go. She's already nailing it. She understands, and she's eager to learn. And she watches Mrs. Hayashi closely as she waits on customers. And when she leaves, she's studying the menu, and she's shocked by these prices. The twice cooked pork is 800 yen.
800
My
yen.
God, who could afford this? What's that like?
Yen to USD. Here we go.
It's gotta be like $7.
It's
710, 790. Come on, just type it in.
Yeah.
Calculate it.
I bet I can do it in my head, but
all right, just do it.
714.
714.
It's $7.14.
And like she says that, and the freaking Hayashis are again like, oh God, give me another tissue. Like, oh, it's so good. But yeah, she's shocked by these prices, even though they are fairly reasonable, cheap even. But she's shocked nonetheless. Mr. Hayashi wants her to wait on the next customer, so she waits at the door and greets the next people to walk in, and it's Nita and Sabu. And she takes their order. Nita gets the twice cooked pork, and she says, wow, you must really be rich. And he's like, are you insulting me? And which is pretty great. And Mr. Hayashi tells her, hey, I know that we said, to act formally, but you can act normal with people you know. And she points at Nita, and she's like, oh, so he's not godlike, he's just normal-like? And he goes,
yeah.
Seriously, are you insulting me?
She says, yeah, in the English, she says, so treat everybody like a god except for that guy.
Yeah, it's really good. I love this show. Anyway, they eat up, they enjoy it. When they pay, she's amazed that they're spending a whole 1,500 yen, and then she just fully freezes up. She goes full catatonic when she sees how much money's in the register.
$13.39.
Yeah, and she just straight up freaks when the register pops open and she sees all the money that's in there, and I'm like, oh.
There's one thing where she said
girl.
She's talking about the 800 yen.
Yeah.
She said you can get like
8 cups of noodles for that.
Yeah, you can get 8 of the good cup of noodles for that.
The good, not just any ramen, top ramen, bro.
Yeah.
The good shit. Later, Mr. Wait, what am I doing? Mr. Hayashi finds her. She's washing the dishes. And she's actually, like, washing the chopsticks to be reused.
The disposable chopsticks.
Yeah, and he's like, no, you can throw those out. And she's like, oh, but Shige always told me we can wash them and reuse them. And he's like, oh, this poor kid. And he's kind of bummed out because, like, he told her that those lessons mean something and they'll live on. But he's now going to end up denying a lot of it because we don't reuse chopsticks, disposable chopsticks. But later, she's taking a shower, and Mrs. Hayashi is like kind of freaked out that she's washing with like just straight up cold water because she didn't have hot water. That's what she's used to. And then in her room, she's amazed that the light in her room clicks on and off for free.
I can use the light whenever I want.
Yeah, it's completely free, she says. In the thing, and then she says, and also, like, first of all, that the light in her room is free, and also, oh shit, my room, like, finally hits her. She's got her own room. It's bigger than her whole hut that she was living in, and she's like, she's happy, and that's good, and I'm happy for her. And the last thing you see of this little part of the episode is when it shows the door, like the wall next to her door, and she's hung up her little Anzu plaque that she had on her hut. It's really cute. So that's happy. We had to get like a whole, get through the sad episode to get to it, but it was happy, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Next little bit of this one, we see Hina at school.
Back at Hina.
Oh, this is a good one. She is scolded for sleeping in class. It's Hitomi sitting there like watching the teacher chew her out, and her hand holding her pencil just starts moving. And I don't know if it was like Hina doing it or what, but like she ends up like doing a like staccato like pencil drawing of a fucking demon holding a knife.
Yeah, it's like an Oni or something.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's like, whoa. But she's also bummed out that she doesn't get extra food at lunch. And at dinner with Nita, she says...
She calls him stingy.
Yeah. She calls him a Scrooge in the subtitle, which is pretty great. But back at home at dinner, she tells Nita, man, school sucks. School's boring. And he tells her, "What? You wanted to go to school? Listen, if it's not fun, then you got to make an effort to make it fun." And then back at school, the kids are discussing student council. Kengo, they say, is talking out of his butt when he tells her that student council gets to make all the rules. And her gears start spinning, and she decides she wants to be student council president after back at home.
Tells her in the English, she tells her that you pretty much get to be king of the school.
Yeah, and back at home, she's actually watching a show about some like pompadoured street tough who rises to power, and she's like, I get to make the rules now. And she's like, again, those gears are turning, and she decides she wants to be the one to be the school council president. At school, she's the only one in her class who wants to run for student council. And Hitomi like freaks out and blames Kengo for talking out of his butt. Sayo stops her and says, No. This could be amusing. No, this is going to be hilarious. Let's let it play out. Sayo's like kind of conniving, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is going to be fun. She is right.
Essentially, in the English, he says, wait, don't do anything. I want to watch it burn to the ground.
That's pretty good. It's pretty real good. So Matsutani tells her that first of all, the other students are like, wait a minute, council president, like, I thought first years could only be like secretary or something, or treasurer or something like that. And later, Matsutani tells her that the candidates have to make a speech, and he shows concern. Like, when she leaves, he's like sitting there like, oh my God. And like another teacher comes over and she's like, hey, was that, so that kid, that she's running for council or
got
something?
it, and throws up a thumb.
Yeah. And like,
I got this.
Oh my God. He's like really bummed, and she's like, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. Hina shows Hitomi her speech, her first draft. And it literally just is 3 points. I want to sleep without being scolded. I want more food. The end. That's it. Perfect. 3 lines. Done. Hitomi's shocked. She can't believe it. Like, why does anything shock you anymore, Hitomi? Come on. And at home, Hina tells Nita that she's running. This is like the next morning because they're eating breakfast. She says, hey, I'm running for student council president. He goes, oh, excuse me for a second. He goes to the bathroom, washes his face, and comes back and says, sorry, I needed to wake up. What was that now? Yeah, I'm running for student council president. Oh, shit, I am awake.
Yeah.
It's really good.
He's like, I did hear you right.
Yeah. I did watch a couple of scenes from this in like the dubbed version.
Mm-hmm. Voice acting is very good.
The voice acting is very good. He does sound like a straight up like he sounds like Timon or something. He's like, yeah, see, like he sounds like a kind of a doofus like gangster. I do love it though.
Yeah.
It is perfect.
I like his voice. I think it's
good. Very good. It's just kind of like goofy. And like the dub, he just sounds like, I don't know, maybe he's doing an accent that I can't pick up on because I don't listen to a lot of like, I don't know Japanese accents, but he just sounds like a normal ass dude. But anyway, he can't believe she's actually running. She shows him the speech, and he just looks at it and he goes, yeah, incredible. Like that's all he says.
She says, but Hitomi told me my speech was really bad. And he was like, all right, let me see it. And so she passes over. He goes, wow, this is really bad.
in the sub, he just looks at it. He doesn't even say it's bad. He just goes, incredible. And like, that's it. It's so fucking good. Then he's back at his Yakuza office, and Nita explains what's happening. He's like, I just don't know what to do with this kid. I mean, I don't even know what to do about this. And the boss immediately like jumps on him. He's like, what are you talking about? You need to be there for her. And the chief is like, maybe we could bring in our lawyer to do something about this. And he's like, good plan. And they literally do bring in the lawyer. And he's like, are you guys in trouble with the police or something? And the boss says, no, this is way more important. And he's like, oh, Jesus. So then at school, cut ahead. It's the day of the speeches. Hina is called to give her speech first. She walks up and says, says her name. She's Hina. And she says, as student council president, and the vice principal who we saw earlier immediately is like, excuse me, first years can only be secretary or treasurer. And she looks at him and then she goes, as student council president, like just keeps going, which is perfect. And everybody's like, holy shit, just straight up ignoring him. She actually makes a lot of good points. And everybody's stunned about how, like, for the past several years, our school lunches have come from the same from the same company or whatever, which is shared by a bunch of other schools. By renegotiating these contracts, we can ensure that we get better food and also better nutrition at a better price by being competitive with our pricing. And as she's reading, she's also reading a whole bunch of what are clearly stage directions.
Take deep breath.
Take a deep breath, hold it. And she goes, take a deep breath, hold for a moment. Like, whoa. And everybody's like, what the hell? So the class is stunned. What I wrote down is she makes several good points. The class is stunned. She also reads aloud what are clearly stage direction. The class is confused. In the end, pretty much everyone's impressed by this, but like, she still can't be student council president. She's a first year. She ends up getting elected secretary. She does win, but she's a secretary. And she's kind of bummed out. She walks away all funny. She's like, man. She and Nita end up going out for dinner, despite her not actually winning what she wanted, the position she wanted. He's like, hey, did great anyway. Let's go out for dinner. So they do. Back at school, Hitomi is pulled out of away as she's trying to leave that evening to a student council meeting because Hina hasn't showed up to any meetings. And they're like, listen, you'll do. Just come on. Just tell them what's going on. So she goes there, and she basically just ends up doing the secretary duties very well. Way too well, and she is invited to become the new secretary since Hina never shows up anyway. And the episode ends with her like trying very hard to leave because she's got something to do, and everybody's just like, welcome to the student council, welcome. It's freaking great. And that's that episode. That's that half of the episode anyway. Next half, this is the one that the fucking end of this one, I rewound it like 3 times because it was so goddamn funny. It starts with Nita asking Utako out. And she says, hey, work keeps her busy. And he says, hey, the bar will be fine without you. And she actually is a bit insulted by that because bar is life. Mm-hmm. And this is my shop. This is my job. No, I'm not going to. And she's actually pretty upset about that comment. At home, he vents to Hina, who is sitting there like playing a game or something.
Yeah, he's like, what is my life came to?
Yeah, this is a really good one. He's like, I just don't know what to do. And she's like, hey, you'll feel better if you talk to somebody. And he goes, hey, that's like one of your top 10 like most level-headed lines ever. She's like, hey, someone said it on TV. And she puts down the controller and just like sits there and looks at him. And he goes, well, I mean, the thing is, and then he stops. He's like, wait. He almost talks to her, but he realizes what's happening. And he says, hey, you do know what pride is, don't you, me? Like, am I really about to have a serious conversation with this child? And he doesn't. But then later, Hina's walking with Hitomi, and she asks Hitomi what should she do. She wants to help Nita, but she doesn't have any idea what to do about it. Hitomi doesn't know what to do either. But when she imagines, so as far as she knows, Nita is Hina's dad. Her mom is dead.
Yes.
And she imagines like a tearful Nita holding a little bitty baby Hina, looking at as he looks over the body of his dead wife.
Yeah,
who just looks like adult Hina.
Yeah, exactly like Hina.
And she bursts into tears, and she vows that no matter that since she doesn't have a mother, she apparently wants a mother. She says she actually asked her at one point, "What's it like having a mom?" Which is like what pushes her over the edge. And she's tearful, and she vows to help her no matter what. So Hitomi takes Hida to the bar, tells her to, just casually talk about how good a guy Nita is. And so, of course, the first thing she says to Utako is, hey, Nita wants to go on a date with you. No chill. Zero chill. Just straight up does it. Utako is like kind of bummed that apparently Nita sent his kid to do his bidding. And Hitomi says, well, listen, I mean, you can go on one date, right? I mean, the bar will be fine without you. And again, she's like, she's like really upset by that remark, but she does agree. Fine, one date. Are you happy? And she says, yeah, okay. So she says she's gonna go on one date. At home, Hina's watching a kid show called Here with Stepmother, and it's like, damn, this show's really laying it on thick. But then she sees she's going through a photo album, and she sees Nita and Mika as kids in a photo album with this, where they both have black hair. Apparently Nita dyes his hair or bleached his hair blonde. One thing that I thought was funny about that picture is the two of them. Nita looks very like uncomfortable. We also find out that like I think he's a year younger than Mika. I don't remember. It's like one of them's 7 and one of them's 8 in the picture, something like that. I think he's a year younger, but he's looking very uncomfortable, and he's wearing a shirt that appears to have a large cartoon fly on it. And Mika is looking like real crazy, like she's so happy and she's holding a fly swatter. I'm like, did she like beat the shit out of him or what? Is what it looks like, because she's got a fly swatter and he's a fly. Pretty funny. Anyway, Nita comes home and he says, hey, what are you up to? And she says, oh, I'm learning about mothers. Why? Utako's going to be my mom. And he goes, his exact words here are, in the sub anyway, are, what kind of plot twist is that? Like, he's freaked out, but once she explains, he's actually pretty happy that she managed to get him the date. And he's like, man, I kept thinking of, what does he say? I kept thinking of having a kid as being a hindrance, but it ended up being a secret weapon. And he picks her up, like, holds her under the armpit.
This part's great.
It's so good. He's like swinging her around. He's like, great job, Hina. Great job. She goes, yeah.
The whole time in the English is, yeah.
It's like really cute. He's like swinging her around all happy. And then you just see her foot slam into the wall.
She's so happy too. And then it breaks her ankle. Her foot
slams into the wall. Yeah. In the sub, she just says ouch really loud and really long, but like the owie, I watched it in the dub, the owie's fucking hilarious. That owie is so good. Oh my god, it's amazing. And then just immediately cut to her laying in a bed at the hospital with a cast on her foot, and Nita's just sitting there like looking all somber. And she says, hey, it's time for your date, you better get going. And he says, no, he doesn't want to leave, it's his fault this happened. And she just looks out the window and she says, it's okay. I want a mom too. And he actually tears up a little bit and he says, all right. And he gets up and he leaves. And as he's going on this date, you actually see like a bunch of scenes. Him and Utako, like at some shop, there's like he's like playing with a puppet, like, trying to like be funny or whatever. They're like, walking, and it looks like they're having a good time, and then they're like at a restaurant toward the end of it. And as this is going on, he says he's saying to himself that he vows to he knows that she wants to have a mom, and he wants to make a good family for her, and he vows to make a loving family for her with Utako. And he says, the next time you see me, it'll be with your mom. And at the dinner scene, we see Nita. You don't hear anything. You see Nita saying something, and then we see Utako. She also says something, and she kind of looks away as she says the last bit. And then it cuts back to Nita, and he's like, what? And he looks all shocked. And then, like, the next scene is him walking by himself, like
a zombie,
straight up zombified. And he's just like, and someone bumps into him, and he literally just falls and hits the ground. At the bar, we see Utako talking to Hitomi, and she reveals that she turned him down. And he talks so much about Hina that she says is she didn't want to come between the two of them because he cares about her so much. And what she told him, her exact words were, I can't date divorced single dads, which is fucking brutal. Yeah. Brutal. And then the bit that got me, god damn it, this made me laugh so hard. In English,
she said, sad, lonely single dad.
That's so good. This is the part that fucking, it was so goddamn funny. At least in the subtitle it was. At the hospital, the door opens and Hina turns like excitedly to the door because he said, next time you see me, it'll be with your new mom. And she turns, then she just goes, and you see what's at the door. And it's this goofy little puppet.
He got the puppet from the store.
Poking through the door. And it's literally just him going, Hina-chan, mom's here. Hey, smile. Hina-chan. And she's just like, and she's like thoroughly unimpressed. It's so fucking fun. Because like, it was one of those things. It's one of those things where like the animation on just that puppet was so smooth as to make it hilarious, and his fucking voice like that he's doing is like, it sounds like a completely different voice in the sub. Anyway, it's fucking amazing. Notably, closing credits, Utako is completely gone. That last bit where she's like, where it's like all of them at the bar, she's normally behind the bar leaning over like serving dude a drink or whatever. She is not there. She is not in the closing credits. And in the next episode 8, which is called,
and it's the same old Hina,
she is also not in the opening credits anymore. Like, everywhere that she was in the opening credits, Utako is gone, including that bit at the end where, like, Hina stands up, is, like, walking toward her and Nita. She is just not there. It's just Nita. And I'm like,
wow, I did not notice that at all.
You didn't notice it? Dude.
I did not notice that at all, dude.
Dude, we're going to have to rewatch it in a second, because she is not, I don't know if it, I would assume it's the same in the dub, but in the sub, she is straight up gone. Not there in any of the credits at all. She has been erased.
Whoa.
It's fucking nuts.
I didn't know that at all.
It's pretty nuts. And I was like, whoa, damn, they ain't playing around. So yeah, this next episode is the same old Hina. Starts with Hina walking the streets, having left a goodbye note. Apparently, this is before the credits, and she's saying, "I don't want to have to go home, but I have to. If I don't listen to what they say, they'll tear my head off. Or oh no, my head will be torn off." And it's like, whoa. And then as she's walking, there's a figure standing in the street who says, "Are you prepared?" And she says, "Yeah." And then she looks up and she says, "Goodbye, Nita." And then that's the opening credits where you do not see Otako. Which really, I was like, whoa. They're not fucking around with this. Seems pretty serious. Episode starts properly after the credits. We see an alleyway, sparks and lightning coming from this alleyway. No metal egg this time, but there is a person standing there who is a little surprised that the city seems so peaceful, even though she's here, she says, even though Hina's here. Anzu comes home to the restaurant and is shocked, nay, horrified to see this person who's eating there. And she says, You're the security chief. Ika. And she says, the person standing there says, introduces themselves as Ikagura K. We just call him K for the rest of this. Who is surprised that Anzu is alive, actually. So Anzu is fairly stoic about this whole encounter and asks that they go somewhere else. And they go off to like, you know, a small, an area, secluded area somewhere. And she says that she's apparently ready to die, but Kay tells her, "Oh no, you've been marked as KIA, killed in action. You're free to live your life as you please, I guess. I'm here to investigate Hina." And apparently we find out Hina was discarded because she very often lost control. She like got, you know, she was so powerful that she would just lose all control and just wreck stuff. But now they want to study her progress. And Kay has a checklist, and it's the, what was it, novice checklist, and later there's an advanced one we find. Mm-hmm. But the novice checklist, the more yeses, the better it looks, and it's like really, you actually see a little bit of it. It's like really simple stuff, like, what was it? Oh, I took a picture of it, hang on, because like, I didn't want to have to write down everything, so I like took a shot of it so I can see what there's there. Hang on. Dead Air song. It's the Dead Air song. Right. By the way, thanks for the shout out, I guess, because I was watching that episode of Two Dudes One Couch, and you definitely busted out the Dead Air song on Two Dudes One Couch. That was pretty sweet. Thanks, bud.
The Dead Air song is the Dead Air song.
You said it's the motherfucking Dead Air song.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty.
When we did the Let's Play, dude, we tried initially to not curse at all. It's kind of like this. We made it a little longer than we did in this.
Yeah, baby got a cuss, I guess.
Yeah, but now it's just off the rails.
Hey, fuck it. Yeah, here we go. Hina behavior checklist, novice level. Here's a few of the things on here. Anzu describes it as even easier than a kid's errands. It says, obliges to play rock, paper, scissors, yes or no. Listens to grown-ups, yes or no. Knows the difference between weight and length, yes or no. Can play the recorder, yes or no. It's like goofy shit like that. It's pretty great. But yeah, that's apparently the whole plan here, is that she's going to be studied, Hina is, and they just need to know, hey, is she actually, you know, has Hina grown as a person? Do we think she's like adult enough to not go crazy and blow everybody up? And if so, well, we'll find out. But Anzu, seeing all this, asks Kay if, hey, have you really thought about this? And Kay remembers Hina standing amongst it's like a brief shot you see of like this very like Super Saiyaned out Hina with like her hair flying in the wind, standing amongst the wreckage of this large city, and just immediately freaks out and tries to get away. And Kay's like, I want to go home. And Anzu stops Kay and is like, hey, do your job. Hina apparently lost control and went apeshit, and also broke her collar as well. Kay says something like that. We find out a little bit more about the collar later in this episode, I guess. Anzu informs Kay that, hey, Hina's living with this guy named Nita. And Kay says, who is this holy man for who death is no concern? And then they basically set off to like find Hina and study her. They find Hina walking on crutches, and Kay says, "Whoa, what happened to her? It looks like her leg's broken." And Anzu says, "Yeah, I think she mentioned that Nita had swung her around and hit her against a wall and broke her ankle." And Kay says, "Who is this? What does Kay say? Who is this apex predator talking about Nita? Like, how's he so tough?" It's pretty great. So then they follow Hina for a while, and Kay cannot believe how many yes marks Hina is getting. Completely flabbergasted. Like, you know, yes, able to carry on a conversation. Yes, is able to, you know, stops for the traffic light, I think was the first big one. Like Kay was certain that Hina was just gonna
won't do this.
Was just gonna blow away all the traffic and keep on moving with her psychic powers, but nope, stopped for the traffic light. Completely normal ass human being right now. And Kay is like desperate for a no because Kay does not want to have to confront Hina for any reason. But after watching Hina actually like totally normally chat up some low-level Yakuza, Kay calls them, including Sabu. We see Sabu. Kay decides, all right, let's pull up the advanced list. And I also got a shot of the advanced list because that one was pretty great. Can meet with people at arranged locations, yes or no, doesn't get lost, stops at red lights, pays for merchandise at the store, throws trash in the trash bin, greets others, and can hold a conversation with others. All this stuff ends up getting done. But yeah, Kay's like, this is impossible. There's no way. First thing on the advanced list, how does Hina handle animals? Is she cool with animals? Is she going to like just, you know, leave them alone? What's the deal? Does she care for animals? So Kay decides, here's the plan. We go over to this pet store, we get a little puppy, and we leave it in Hina's path. And that's what she does. That's what Kay does. Hina finds this dog. It's raining now. It starts raining during this scene. Hina is walking along, finds this dog in a little box. It says abandoned dog right on the front of it. And Hina stops for a second and then walks past it. And Kay's like, ha, I knew it. She's leaving the dog. No way. Not going to do it. And then she's like, she's going over to the store. She's literally stealing an umbrella right now. Ha, knew it. Called it. Totally. And then Hina goes back and puts the umbrella in the dog's box so that it stays dry. And Hina actually says, where's the line? Dogs can be homeless too, huh? I've been there. It's like, damn, Hina, you really have grown as a person, apparently. But yeah, Kay, again, cannot believe it. Anzu wants to know what's going to happen to the dog, mostly. It's like, hey...
hey, we need to do something about the dog that you bought.
That was a pretty great bit. Like, she in the sub, what she actually says, she says something like, well, what are we going to do now? And Kay says, well, I guess I'm going to have to confront her. And Anzu's like, no, I meant with the dog. What are you going to do with the dog?
Yeah.
So then we smash cut. Kay is going over the list again, checking, and like everything's been checked off yes, while the dog is across the room from her, like smashing on some food or something. It's adorable. And Kay actually finds an addendum at the bottom of the list. If 90% yes, Hina is to be brought home. And that's the end of that episode. The little, or not that part of the episode.
Yeah.
There's actually like 3 parts to this one. The last little bit you see is Hitomi out in front of that shop where Hina got the umbrella from, and she's like, "Where the fuck's my umbrella?"
My umbrella.
Just straight up stole. Man, Hitomi gets shit on a lot, but she's really great. I love Hitomi. She's great.
All right, I love this segment of the episode with Mommy.
This is the one. This is the one that gets you. I thought it was pretty good.
Mommy-chan.
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 Jesus. Hina. So Hina's walking along with her crutches. She can't really use her hands, and there's a bunch of garbage bags in front of her, and she's just like, okay, and picks them up with her psychic powers, puts them in the bin. Fine. Unbeknownst to her, there's another girl watching who sees her. She is Mami-chan. Her actual name is Shinju Mami. Yeah, Shinju. Shinjo. Something like that.
Shinjo.
This one's pretty great. This one is good. It also, I think I've discussed this with you before. I get secondhand embarrassment very easily.
Yes.
It's the reason that I've never been able to get through a full episode of The Office, because I see that Michael Scott guy fucking up and I'm like, ugh, and I change the channel. God, I got the chills on this one. It was hard to get through, dude. This one was not easy to get. I almost skipped this one. But, like, if I ever watch this again, this is the one I'll skip. Like, the crying, I can deal with crying. This shit, that cringe, can't do it, baby. But,
it's great.
It's pretty rough, man. I did not like it. Anyway, this girl sees her. She's excited to have made this discovery.
We need to get you over that, dude.
I can't do it, dude.
We gotta get you over it, man.
I've had that for years.
Because it's so funny whenever people do something embarrassing.
I can't deal with that shit.
Sometimes you feel a little bad for them.
All right, let's talk about that shit. Let's talk about embarrassment. Let's talk about secondhand embarrassment. Let's talk about quote unquote cringe culture. Your boy's not with it. That shit bums me out, because it's like, I get it. Like, the funny bit is that you're seeing someone else fuck up and embarrass themselves, and like, that's fun. I can't get with it. It just makes me hurt. It hurts me, Roger. It hurts me.
How does that happen, dude?
I don't know,
the only
man.
person I know like that.
Dude, I just can't deal with it. I've literally had that fear. We were talking about Doug earlier. I remember watching episodes of Doug where I see Doug about to do something embarrassing, and I know he's about to embarrass himself. And I remember literally switching over to Cartoon Network because I can't deal with that.
Yeah, I feel bad for people easily.
There's a word for that in German. Secondhand embarrassment. There's a word for everything in German.
Okay. I feel bad for people easily. I feel pity for people easily. And maybe that's wrong, I don't know. But watching somebody do something stupid, sometimes it does make my day, because, you know, especially if it's one of my good buddies.
Yeah.
I definitely like to laugh at them. I would very much expect them to laugh at me if I did something that stupid.
No, I mean, I get that. It's just like, I don't know, man. There's something about if I see my friend fuck up, like if I see someone do something embarrassing, if I do something embarrassing, I expect to get laughed at. If I see my friend do something embarrassing, I laugh at them. Like, obviously, if I see you fall out of a chair because it's funny, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna make sure you're okay, but I'm gonna laugh.
You don't mind sharing that pee-pee story, dude. That doesn't bother you very much.
Oh yeah, no, that's hilarious, because that's just a thing that happened. But I'm talking, like, I don't know, man. There's something about like seeing someone else just like, maybe it is just like fictional shit, because like I know that it was written to be like that.
It just makes your anxiety bad.
Like when it's
you
real
anxiety.
Yeah, maybe. Like when it's real life, I'm like, okay, that's fucked up that happened. But when it's like fictional shit like this, where like it was specifically written that this person does embarrassing thing, I guess I'm just like, ugh! Like, I can't take it. And usually when I see like people I don't know in real life doing embarrassing shit or getting embarrassed about shit, I'm usually just like, I guess it depends on what it is. Because like if it's someone tripped and fell, or like funny, like a pratfall or something, I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. Are you okay? But that's hilarious. If it's something like people online,
like, you know ahead of time that you're like, this person is about to make a serious fool of themselves.
There's definitely different levels of, yeah, if I see someone who I know, like, I can see the bad shit coming, then I'm like, oh no, don't just don't. Yeah. And then the other side of that same, like a similar side to that,
it's like it's like whenever we were kids. Okay, and I mean, we were definitely, that was maybe 8, so Tommy was probably 7.
Okay,
and my youngest brother was probably 5. The ice cream truck used to drive by our house all the time, so we sent Steven up there to wait for the ice cream truck, and convinced him that he was definitely getting ice cream. And as soon as he ordered the ice cream or whatever, he was like, "Okay, I'd like to charge this." Yeah,
Roger, you're a monster. Roger, you're a bad person.
One time, Steven didn't want to go to school when we were kids, probably near the same age.
The joke that he like thought
we had a camper or whatever, so we convinced him that he wouldn't have to go to school if he stayed in the camper all day.
This is
and it was like
that's just you being a dick to your sibling. Like,
yeah, well, we were young, dude, but
douche.
But yeah. We definitely made a fool of him, and now I was like, man, I wish I wouldn't have done that. But
I don't know, man. There's different shit for me. Like the one thing that I don't feel any kind of thing over, except, hey, you're being a dick, is like like that shit where like if you see someone online like making an original character or whatever, or like here's my fursona, here's my Sonic character based on me, that kind of shit, people will like spread that around and be like, look at this dumbass, and I'm like, hey, you're being a douche, dude. Like that doesn't affect me at all. It's just like, you're being a dick. It's when I see people doing stuff like you said, when I can see they're about to fuck up, that does hit trigger, that hits my anxiety real bad. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Anyway, we've talked way too long about something that's not anime.
No, we'll get out of the psychiatrist chair. And
douche, you fucking douche. Anyway,
it's your anxiety.
I guess so, man.
Hey, man, I got bad anxiety.
God damn, this one hit me real hard though. This one fucking hurt.
Was it a shot straight to the dink, dude?
It was a shot straight to the dink, my guy. Anyway, so this girl, Mami-chan, she's really excited that she's apparently discovered this girl with psychic powers. She's like, oh man, this is great. But then she's also frightened about it when she reads about in, what was it, Mar Magazine or something? Mar Monthly.
It was like
she has like a bunch of these paranormal books and magazines and shit.
It was like, what was it? The News, Entertainment, Newsweek.
What? The magazine she's reading?
No, I mean, a tabloid magazine. That's what she's reading.
Kind of a tabloid, yeah.
I was trying to say one that's real. The one like, with Bat Boy.
Sure, but like the actual thing on it does actually say like paranormal magazine or something like that. Like it's specifically for this kind of stuff. But she reads that, she grabs one of these magazines and she's a little freaked out when she reads about A-san, who in one of her supernatural magazines, who apparently went missing.
The world or the Weekly World News is what Bat Boy is from. That was the tabloid I was trying to refer to.
Yeah, but I mean this is like a magazine thing.
Yeah,
it's kind of like in the same vein. Yeah, but she's freaked out when she reads this story in this magazine about A-san, who is apparently a person who went missing after revealing information about an organization with these secret powers and shit. And she's freaked out. She's like, oh man, what if I go public with this and I mysteriously vanish, that kind of shit. The Spider Fairies mommy refuses to abandon the path before her, she says. And at school she questions Hitomi, like, hey, do you know anything about this? But she gets nothing. She says, hey, what do you know about Hina? And what is Hina to you, is what she says. And Hitomi says, well,
savage.
She says she's like a creature who just eats and sleeps, I guess. Just pretty great.
Won't even acknowledge that it's
which is accurate.
Yeah.
It's accurate. Like, Hitomi doesn't realize how savage she's being. Yeah.
In the English, she straight up asks her, hey, you're friends with Hina, right? And she says, no, I would just say that she eats and sleeps a lot. Something like that. Yeah. She talks about her eating and sleeping, but she says, no, I'm not really her friend.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
Like, whoa!
At school, so then later, after that bit, she's racking her brain during class, and which again, okay, this keeps happening. Why the fuck is every single class these kids have about the Namahage? Like that's a plot point, right? That's definitely a thing that's gonna come back. All right, no spoilers. I haven't watched the rest of it yet. Anyway, she gets called on by the teacher to answer a question or translate this thing or something, and she wasn't paying attention, just stands up and calls the teacher mommy. Mm-hmm. You ever done that, dude?
No, I haven't.
One time in elementary school, I called the teacher mommy.
Never happened to me.
That was Miss Powell. She was my favorite teacher. I definitely called her mommy. It was very embarrassing. Anyway, that was elementary school, though. I was like 5.
Whenever
I feel like I can get away with that.
There was like a good 2 or 3 year stretch that my mom worked at my school.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's pretty
She
cool.
was a lunch lady.
Aw, sweet, dude.
Yeah, man. She stacked us up.
Hell yeah.
She stacked us up.
You got the extra macaroni?
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
I didn't have to pay a quarter for the tea. Nah, I got that shit for free.
You son of a bitch.
My mommy worked there. She was the lunch lady.
That's fucking sick, dude.
And now she's a lady in the nursing home with the sharp turds.
Wow. I remember my mom actually for a little while worked at the what was it called? I just remember always hearing about it. I never went there because I was a good kid in school. But there was like Like if you fucked up real bad, if you like did something really bad, you got sent to this other school.
Yeah, like a juvenile.
Yeah, it's like
school.
a juvie school.
Yeah.
Like for like you'd spend like a week or two there if you were like if you
ISS.
fucked up real bad. It's like ISS, but ISS was like in school suspension. This was like out of school suspension, so it was like OSS or something. They had a name for it. I don't remember what it was. But my mom worked there, and I remember one time when I was very young, I was very sick. Mom couldn't stay home.
Alternative school.
Alternative. That's it. Alternative. You were going to alternative. That's what they would say. Hey, you're going to alternative. Yeah. But I remember my mom worked there. She literally just like sat at a desk and like made sure these kids didn't fight each other all day. And I remember being very sick and mom couldn't find anybody to watch me. So she just took me to alternative school. And I literally just like sat there next to her playing like those shitty like 99 Microsoft games all day. Mm-hmm. And the kids in there were like, Miss Bush, is that your kid? Yeah. Well, that's cool. And I was like, hey, like, because I was sick.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Turns out they weren't a bunch of street toughs like they show you on TV.
Nah. They did. There was one kid in there wearing a leather jacket. That did strike me. I was like, man, that guy's really cool. And also at alternative school.
Miss Bush, is that your son? Yes, it is. He a bitch.
That didn't happen.
He got the smallest dink in the room.
They loved me. They loved me.
I was a star, baby.
All right. Anyway. But yeah, they, where was I? Oh yeah, she calls the teacher mommy. Later, she confronts Hina directly and she says, listen, you're a psychic girl created by the organization, aren't you? And Hina just pauses. And then she looks real serious. How did you know? Just pretty great. And mommy immediately freaks out. She's like, it's true? And she goes, she's like thinking, what do I say next? And Hina tells me, listen, I'll get scolded if he finds out, all right? And Ma remembers Aeson in her Mar Monthly magazine, and she falls down begging for her life. Please don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. And then they're just walking together, and like they're actually like kind of chill. And Mommy's like actually super geeking out over Hina's powers. Kay, meanwhile, is watching this happen, and says to herself, "So she has a friend," and she marks that's a yes in her little book, in Kay's little book. Mommy calls Hina master and wants to learn how to use powers like her. And she tries so hard to like lift this rock down by the river. She can't do it. Hina does it. Hina's like lifting rocks and shit. And Mommy Chan's like trying so hard. She's like, like screaming at this rock and pointing her hands at it, trying to make it move. It doesn't move. And Hina's like, hey, are we seriously going to stand here until you finally do it? And she's like, just keeps trying. And finally, Hina just like, whoop, lifts it, like, without her knowing it's her doing it. Hina lifts the rock. And she's like, yes, I can do it. Oh, I did it. And so it happens again the next day. And pretty much the exact same scene with, like, her trying to lift rocks. And Hina finally does it for her. And Hina tells her, listen, you got to keep this secret, though. This is real serious stuff. You can't let anybody know definitely you can't let anyone know you can do this. And like she's trying to like play it off. Mommy of course gets way too big for her britches, decides that Hina can't tell her what to do, and here comes the secondhand embarrassment. She decides in class she's gonna show everybody her powers. This fucking hurt, dude.
She has a Momo eraser.
She writes on the board Mommy's fucking, what does she say? Like superpower class or something like that. Hina's asleep in the back of the class, so she doesn't know what's happening. She gets in front of everybody, calls all their attention, puts an eraser in front of her, and is like trying to do it. And of course nothing happens. Of course nothing happens because you don't have psychic powers. It doesn't work. It fucking hurts. It's cringy as shit. I could not deal. And finally, she just like stops trying. Everyone's looking at her like she's crazy, and she goes just turns sideways, walks out of the fucking room, and the voiceover says, "Mommy-chan was never seen again," which is pretty funny because that's what happened to Aeson. And then it's like, well, for 2 days, and you see her just like buried underneath her bed, like miserable. I couldn't deal with that shit, dude. That one really hurt.
I feel I feel like that one was a bit weak, but
it was kind of. I mean, it was like
it definitely was not like Office level cringe.
It fucking hurt though. It still hurt. Yeah. 'Cause like as soon as I saw her like right on the board and put the eraser in front of her, it was like, ugh! Like I want to just skip the rest of it. It fucking hurt, man. I can't deal with that shit. Anyway, that's the last bit of that one. We're on to the last little bit of this episode, and we see Hina. Hina gets her cast off. She says overwhelming freedom. She's like tapping her foot on the ground like, yeah, made it, yeah. To celebrate, she gets a fancy ice cream for her troubles. And she is then approached by Kay, who says, I've come to take you home. And he just says, no. Kay immediately freaks out, hides in the next booth and says, but it's an order. And Hina sitting there is like, it's an order. Okay. And Kay is surprised, but then sees Hina rubbing her neck. And she says, if I don't do what they say, my head will get torn off. And she realizes, she doesn't realize that her collar came off. Apparently these collars are like a thing that lets them cut your fucking head off. That's fucked up. But okay. Kay tells her, okay, we leave in 3 days. I have to find someone to adopt a dog. Just pretty great. At home, Nita's weirded out by Hina, who is just like spinning herself in the air, and then she stops, lands, walks over, and pukes in the sink. Her sweater in this scene says "bye-bye" in big letters, which is pretty cute, but she can't say it out loud. She can't tell Nita that she's leaving. And he's reading the paper, and there's a bit on the back about
her shirts, dude.
Yeah, her shirts are great. It says bye-bye here.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Goodbye. Sayonara.
Yeah, later it says sayonara. It's really great. But she can't bring herself to say it, and he's actually reading the paper, and there's a story on the back about, like, some royal who, like,
the royal
is
prince leaving in 3 days.
Yeah, and she, like, points at it and says,
me.
That's me. And he's like, what, you mean, like, you're eccentric like the royal family? No. It's like, what, you're a princess? Like, no. And like he doesn't get it. She can't bring herself to say
she honks.
Yeah, she did. She puked in the sink. But yeah, she shadows him all around the apartment, and when he finally confronts her again, he turns, he's like, hey, what's going on? And she's just spinning in the air again. It's pretty funny. But finally he ends up like I think the next morning he goes into her room and finds her like passed out on her desk with all these like crumpled up papers, and like she was clearly trying to write something but kept restarting. And he's freaked out. He takes her to the hospital. Several tests. They're doing like everything. They're checking everything on her. They got like a hose going up her nose. It's fucked up. They're testing everything, taking blood, MRIs. And after several tests, the doctor says, "Nah, dude, she's perfectly healthy." And at home, he tries again to get it out of her. This is where her sweater says sayonara on it. And she can't bring herself to say it, but she just very slowly floats in the air, curls into a little ball, and she's hanging there upside down. And she tells him that she has to go home, and she's going to be leaving. And Nita doesn't say anything. He just stands up. He walks to the next room, and she's like,
I thought he was going to be a lot more sad than that.
Yeah, she's like a little surprised that he's apparently taking it so well. But then he comes right back with his jacket on and says, all right, let's go. It's like, what? It's like, we're going out to get something to eat, a special meal. And he takes her to get some ikura, the salmon roe. And as they're sitting there, she says something about how the hospital said after all those tests she's only supposed to eat lightly or something. He says, well, would you rather have porridge or ikura? Yeah. And she's like, ikura. And so they eat, and it's delicious.
Yeah, she's wolfing it. She's at one point she says, "Oh, my stomach doesn't feel too good."
Yeah,
she takes another bite.
Yeah, she's still going though. Yeah, it's pretty great.
I feel her, man. I was having some stomach problems last night. I don't know what I ate, but
pooping up a storm.
No, man, it was my stomach was just so.
Oh, you had a tummy problem?
I couldn't go to sleep. I was so uncomfortable.
I'm with your baby boy.
Pobrecito. Yeah, man, it was bad, dude.
You need a belly rub.
I was feeling bad.
You want the belly
also,
rub?
I've been having these weird pains.
You want the belly rub?
No, because I have a weird pain.
You think
side, inside my belly, and in my back.
Do you think you got a sharp turd?
I had to do some Googling to figure out what was wrong with me. I don't think it's a sharp turd, dude. I think I have a pinched nerve.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that could be. You know, it's usually you can tell if it's like you're getting tinglies in your other parts, like in your leg or something.
So this is the first time it's happened to me in my back and then on my side. It was like, it felt hot. It felt like it was burning, but my skin was not hot. It was like Tingly and Bernie.
Oh.
So I had to Google it, and then it sounds like it was a pinched nerve.
Gotta see the chiropractor.
Because I'm a fat slug, so...
Gotta get stretched out.
So guess what, baby? Next week I'm hitting the gym.
Are you really?
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, man.
I gotta become a street tough, dude. I can't
your pompadour on.
I can't be a street puff forever.
All right. But yeah.
Can't get that dink swinging, you know.
Jesus, this guy. Anyway, they finish the food. He actually drives her to drop her off, and they stop for a second, and he says, "Hey," he tells her, "You know, you've been a real pain in the ass, but it was fun spending time with you." And she smiles and she thanks him for everything, and then she leaves. And he says to himself, I guess she grew up after all. And he remembers all these good times as he's driving away, and he ends up going to like some like home store or something, it says on the sign.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Kay is talking to Hina, and they're getting ready to go, and Kay says, "Hey, do you have the orb?" And she says, "No, I don't have it." And we actually see a flashback after Nita got out of the weird metal egg thing. He was so pissed off that he grabbed it and like, "What the hell is this ball?" He just throws it in the garbage. And Kay says something about like, "How often do you get mad at balls?" And Hina's like, "Not very, I guess." It was a weird moment.
Yeah, in the English it goes around. It just says, so he threw it away. A grown man was having a temper tantrum, and he threw it away.
It's pretty great. And then Kay says, "Well, I mean, you can't get home without the orb, though." And he's like, "Oh, hell yeah." And she just runs home.
Yeah.
And it's very beautiful. And like,
she's like, Nita.
it's very emotional. She runs home. She's imagining like, you know, oh, will he be surprised? Is he going to be happy? I bet he'll be happy. And
it's like,
she gets to the apartment.
Maybe he's even crying.
Yeah. She gets to the apartment, imagining how happy Nita will be to see her. And she walks in to find him popping some confetti party poppers. And he's got these big "free from Hina" signs. And he's wearing these goofy ass glasses with the big dumb nose.
Yeah.
And he's like, he just freezes when he sees her at the door. And he goes, "No, well, this is," and it's just a very up close shot of her face. She goes, "Not cool."
Yeah. In the English one, she says, "Explain yourself."
That's pretty good. Do want to point out credits on this one. End credits. Hina's not in the end credits this time. Nor is Utako. They're both just gone. Like, everyone else is there. Fucking dude, like the end credits, the last shot of it is like this still image of fucking everybody at the bar. Literally every character in the show at the bar. Usually it's a taco behind the bar. Nita's sitting there with like a cup of something.
So what is this from?
Hina's sitting next to him. Utako and Hina are just not there.
So is this like Nita's imagination? Is that?
I guess, I don't know, but no one's there. I ended up like out of curiosity. I watched like the end credits for the next couple episodes, and Hina's back. Utako's still gone. So here you go. Anyway, that's our that was episode 8. That is it for this week. We're gonna go over 9 through 12. Finish it off next week. Feel like we've already run a little bit long, but let's. Hey,
that's okay.
buddy, wait a minute. Yeah, we got some questions.
Oh, we got some questions.
We got some questions.
We actually have 2 second part questions from last week.
Yeah, second part is that you freaked out over me apparently answering, even though I hadn't read it and no one had said it, and I was not talking about that.
Dude,
I was not talking about it at all.
All right, so we'll get straight in that question from our good buddy Christy.
My good buddy Christy.
She asked if you could have any of the powers on My Hero Academia, which would you have?
We're talking specifically the powers that are already
you have
on
to
there.
pick one of their.
Can't make me up one. Got to be one that's in the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what mine would be? Honestly, it's so dumb, but I loved it. And when I first saw it, I was like, "That's amazing."
Sticky balls?
Nope. Telescope.
Oh,
the girl
yeah.
sucks into her body. That shit was hilarious. That was the funniest fucking thing ever when like homeboy who was it? Tokoyami like swings a big ass hand there and her upper body's just gone, and then she just like her head like just pops out of her waist. That shit was hilarious. I want that just cuz it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that one. Done.
I think I would take Momo's power.
Momo's power is pretty cool.
I'd be whipping things right out of my boobies, dude.
And then you'd get too tired and pass out, and you couldn't.
Well, I like cool stuff, and
as long as one of the things you make is a segue, you'll be fine.
Unless I have to go by her morals of, well, it's not as fun if you don't go shopping for it.
Dumb. I like shopping.
Yeah. Well, I like shopping, but if I could just make some money.
Don't lie. You want that. You want them sticky balls.
Yeah, I get the Mickey sticky balls.
I would make no sticky balls. I would probably go with Telescope Girl just because it's funny. If I had to pick one because it actually like seems useful, that doesn't seem all that useful. I would probably go with. Man, how fucked up would that be if I was like that meatball kid? Ugh, that meatball kid freaked me out. I'd probably go with like just Bakugo's thing because it seems pretty fucking cool. It's very destructive, but also like.
Yeah, his is awesome though. So versatile, dude.
Thinking, does anybody just teleport? I want to teleport. I don't think. Oh, that teleport guy does, but he's like a weird smoke monster. I don't want to be a weird smoke monster. I'll go with. I'll just stick with Telescope. I really like that one. Okay. That was funny.
Yeah, all right. It was funny. I did get a good laugh off of that.
It was really good. It's just so funny looking because she's literally just a weight. Like there's just an ass and some legs, and you're like, and then her head pops out of it, and it's like. So good. Anyway, what's the next question? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
That was our only question?
No, we have another question.
Okay, thanks for the question. This is great. I want to know what your favorite is too. Tell me about it.
Tell me about it.
All y'all tell us about it.
Okay, so this is a second part to Clayton's question. This one could be long, but it might not be. It's probably pretty easy.
Bring it.
This is addendum to it. Can anime adaptations to other works prove to be better than the source material? Can an anime be better than its source material?
That's hard for me to say because I haven't read a lot of source material. I haven't experienced a lot of source material for animes. I would say that the only one for sure that I have an in-depth knowledge of would be...
Yeah, I have one that I could say for sure.
I've only got one I have an in-depth knowledge of, and that would be like Pokemon and the Pokemon games, and the games are definitely better than the anime.
Yeah.
So that's about all I got, bud.
That's fair.
I don't know. What's a...
I would say... So I've read some of Initial D.
Okay.
And dude, it's not the same. Like you have to watch the races.
Yeah, I feel like seeing those cars like swing and swerve and
you
gotta
all that hear the sounds and stuff like that. It makes it much better. Initial D is an anime.
I just been it. How's that song go? That song fucking rips, dude. I just been in this place before, higher on the street, and I know it's time to go. That's just fucking rad.
I love the Initial D.
Meme song, but that song fucking rips, dude. It's right up there with Running in the 90s. That's a good one too.
I just can't imagine like it. Even reading, I did read some of it. I didn't read all of it, of course, but I have some Initial D manga around here somewhere, and it's not as good as watching it on the film.
I don't know. That's a toughie, man. I can't really. I just haven't experienced a whole lot of like animes and also the shit they were based on.
There was some of the Gungrave was based off a video game. I heard the video game.
I heard the video game was better than the anime.
No, I
disagree.
Would disagree strongly with that.
I think
the video game was fun. We talked about this before. Yeah, I would disagree heavily with that.
All right. I don't know, man. I guess I can try to look up like list of shit that's based on shit that I might have seen the shit before. Oh, excuse me, a friend of mine texted me a picture. Oh, it's her puppy. Cute.
What a cute dog.
What a cute puppy.
It's adorable.
I'm not even gonna bother looking it up. It'll take too long. That's way too much dead air. The only thing I can really think of is like I have read some of the One Punch Man like comic or whatever, and there were a lot of bits in that like I thought was way cooler in the comic than in the show. Which is not to say the show's bad because the show's fucking rad. Right. I can't wait for that fucking next season that's coming. I think early next year, something like that. Woo! But yeah, unfortunately, that's another one that like not unlike last time. I feel like I'm kind of out on this one because I'm not as
sure. I don't read a whole lot of manga. I read a lot as a like in high school and stuff like that. I got my Shonen Jump subscriptions. Well, I didn't get them. My buddy Austin did, and I read his. But
what a fucking nerd.
I know.
What a fucking nerd.
But I had my nice spell of reading manga, but no, I don't read it anymore. To be honest with you, I know this is always strange to people when I say it. I don't like reading.
No, I get that. I definitely it's definitely easier for me to like listen to like a book on tape than actually sit down and read it.
Yeah,
because I can like do other shit while I'm doing it.
Soak it in better because I'll be there reading the same page like 10 fucking times.
Well, that's because you got the dyslexia, bud. I mean, that's understandable. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You just living, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm doesn't mean that I shouldn't be able to soak in the information.
And it's not so much that like I don't like reading. It's that like I'll be reading something and I'll like I have this thing where I will just straight up take a deep dive on shit. Like I'll be reading a thing and I'm like, oh, that's a big word. I don't know what that word means. Or maybe I do know what it means, but I'll be like, I wonder where that comes from because it sounds like this other word. And I'll just spend like 20 minutes on fucking Wikipedia reading up on the etymology and shit.
I remember, so I worked at a comic book store for a while, and whenever I started there, Brandon was one of the guys that got comic books every week. Mm-hmm. And then at a certain point, they're like, hey, have you seen Brandon? Because Brandon stopped reading his comic book.
I fell off pretty hard.
He got a big old stack built up, and then he'd stop coming for his comic.
Hey man, I still go in there every now and then and whittle away at that stack. Eventually, I'm just gonna get a big ass charge on my credit card, and I'm gonna feel real bad about it.
Yeah, no, they probably won't do that to you.
Ugh.
But yeah, good question, Clayton. Good second part.
I wish I had more to say about it. I feel kind of bad that I don't.
We actually went on longer than I thought I would. Or we would.
Yeah.
I would. We would. But no, it was a good question. Clayton always asks really good thinkers.
So the whole thing was
never any stinkers.
An anime that's better than the source material, right? That was the question.
The first question was, do you think that anime should be based on more original ideas as opposed to source material? And then the second part was, can anime adaptations be better than their source material?
Yeah, I would say
the answer is a yes to no. It could go either way. But if I were to think of some, Initial D comes to mind for me. Pokemon comes to mind for me.
Not unlike last week. If we were talking about like movies that are based on books and shit, yeah, I'd have more of an opinion. But that's because I've read more books and watched more movies here in the America. I don't.
Have you ever seen a movie that was better than the book?
I've said before, there, like I said last week, there is one and only one movie that's as good as the book. Okay. And that is To Kill a Mockingbird. Right. Classic, Gregory Peck. Yummy. But yeah, that's a good one. Scout Finch running around in that fucking ham costume. Girl, you look dumb as hell.
All right,
fucking
big guy.
Boo Radley. As my good buddy Sparky Sweets on the what's that fucking Thug Notes YouTube, he called him Crazy Crackaboo Radley. Hell yeah. Anyway.
Let's rattle at them.
I'm
plugs,
off on a tangent.
Dude.
Let's talk about plugs. If y'all have any questions, thanks again for the questions, Chrissy and our good buddy Clayton. Yeah. Our good buddies, Chrissy and Clayton. Christy, excuse me. Jesus, I'm fucking tripping, dude. Our
Brandon's good buddies, he's been working massive weeks. Everybody quit up at his job.
This is like my straight up 15th day in a row with no days off, 60-hour work weeks. Yeah, baby need a nap. Sorry about that, guys. But my good buddies, Christy and Clayton, thank you so much for the questions. If any of y'all listening want to send us some questions, you can hit us up at on our Gmail account. That is thegoodbuddiesAnimePod@gmail.com.
Right. TheGoodBuddiesAnimePod @GMAIL.com.
You definitely don't have to spell out Gmail or com.
Oh, I did the motion for the @
You did do the @ symbol motion. Every time I hear someone like spell out pod, all I can think of is we are.
That's POD, dude.
Yeah, but you just said, how do you spell it? Good Buddies Anime.
ANIMEPOD.
POD. And I'm just like, we are. Anyway, you can hit us up there at the Gmail. We also have the Good Buddies Anime group, that the Facebook group, which is the Good Buddies Universe. Yep. We also have the Twitter, that's TGB_anime
We're
pod.
slowly getting more people into the
universe, man. Every now and then I'll get a notification. I'm like, I ain't approving nobody. Let you do that. I don't.
Whoa.
But yeah, we also have the I said the Twitter, TGB_anime pod. There is the Tumblr, thegoodbuddies.tumblr.com.
Damn dog, dude. He can't skip an episode.
You'll be fine. He's got to get his licks in, man. He's got a lot of opinions about Hinamatsuri and Anzu and how sad it was.
He's a cock.
You'll be fine, you giant baby. Don't forget, you can also leave a question or comment or anything you want anywhere that you're listening to this, including on YouTube, where you may be listening to this right now. That's Rapid Kick Media on YouTube. We also have anywhere you can get your podcast. That's iTunes. Leave us a rating. Give us those 5 stars and leave us a comment if you loved it. If you didn't love it, also leave us those 5 stars because those are the only ones we'll respond to. Crush that like button. Is that what you have to say?
Yeah, smash that like button.
It's fucking worst. But also, anywhere your fine podcasts are sold, even though we don't sell them, I use Podcast Addict. We also got Stitcher, Podbean, all the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Spotify.
Not Spotify. You know.
It's hard to get onto.
Spotify. But yeah, man, hit us up. Pretty much anywhere you can leave a comment or a question, we'll probably see it, and we'll be sure to hit it up. Beyond that, I do want to, of course, give a shout out to our good buddies Married with Seamonsters, a.k.a. the Mary Janes, for the use of our opening theme song, Paperdoll.
Paperdoll.
You can find that. They are on Spotify, but that song, as well as some of their other cool stuff, is not on there. You can only get those on marriedwithseamonsters.bandcamp.com, so check that shit out. Also want to give a shout out to our good buddy Petty Theft. That is how you spell it. 2 P's at the beginning, 2 P's at the end. Petty Theft. The way you did that sounded like Jason Voorhees.
That was what I was trying to do, but I couldn't remember how to do it exactly.
It's the fucking worst.
We probably have horrible noises going on through the mics.
This is really bad. There's a lot of sibilants. I'm sorry this is happening to you, and it's going to be over soon, I promise. You're going to get to listen to the dulcet tones of our good buddy Petty Theft, who you can find them on SoundCloud and on Twitter under Petty Theft. 2 P's at the beginning, 2 T's at the end. Petty Theft. And I think that's about it. Who's taking us out, man?
Yeah, man. I took us out last week, so you took it this week. But yeah, hit us up on that social media, guys. Let's talk some more, and then maybe one day we can get Good Buddies Meetup started.
Yeah, man, I'm down for that. I have no idea how I'm going to take us out of this, but the music's already starting, I'm sure. So from all of us here...
What's a good noise from there? Oh, dude, you got to take us out with the dink, dude.
With a dink?
Yeah.
I got one for us. All right. So from all of us here at the Good Buddies universe, I'm your good buddy Brandon.
I'm your good buddy Roger.
Very expensive.